that's ready. I'm doing like a cold intro.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I just started recording, so
Yeah.
I just recorded my talking about dumb shit.
Oh, I wasn't even aware.
But
So we're
here's
actually
what
recording.
I'm gonna probably do then. I guess we'll just clue people in that this is the beginning.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
I can hear it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's not very loud.
Yeah.
This is a song by the rap group you've never heard of. This is the Weekend Warriors. It was a project in 2014. I think I put out a couple of the verses and shit we worked on. But this is Chris, and he was the best of the rappers. Best of the rap. Like, he was the last of the Mohicans.
I'm not even like well versed in rap at all. Like I can tell you like Busta Rhymes, and I can tell you Bone Thugs, and then I can tell you that like I can't understand any other lyrics besides those. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, you just picked two of the fastest rapping group, like Bone Thugs and Busta Rhymes. They're just like, you really need multiple passes to understand what they're saying.
It's not that bad. Like Busta Rhymes actually enunciates properly.
Yeah, he's funny as
like,
shit.
They've got this version of rap out now where it's just kind of like, and then occasionally you throw in some drug references in there. So you're like, crack, H.
Yeah, I think the big thing is
so
like
bad.
Xanax right now.
Oh my god!
But they call it like mumble rap, and then they all do the same flow. So it's like everyone's just doing a different, the same nursery rhyme with different words.
Yep.
So it's like, I've been sitting for 10 hours in my limousine. And then you wait a minute, and it's like, then I don't know what the fuck rhymes with limousine. I don't know why I would pick that as a rhyme word.
Well, you know, you got like cuisine or something like that.
Some piss cuisine.
Some piss cuisine, some lean cuisine. Yep.
So again, I've played the intro and I haven't said anything about what this is. This is... Apparently, we're going with the name Death by Cheeseburgers because neither one of us have volunteered anything better up until this point. I am one half of this panel of fucking retardation.
Pretty much.
And my name is Matt Jablonsky.
Yes. I am Ben Terhune, all around started as an author. Well, I started as a human being and not a very good one. Then I became an author, worked my way up the ladder. Now I'm trying my hand at stand-up comedy. I'm probably going to bomb, and it's probably going to be abysmal. But I'm looking forward to the alcoholism I embrace after I fuck it up.
Well, considering that, actually, this podcast is now going to have the reach of your social media, I assume. But it's also going to have all the same people that could see my other one. So I assume like the 15 people that listen to the Matt
I was like, did you have followers?
Are probably going to listen. Well, I got about 50 listens on average, but I imagine like some of those were my mom just trying to boost that number for me.
Moms always boost morale. And like if they don't, that's just because you're still in therapy for what she did to you prior to that.
Yeah, no, my mom was cool. It's dad that I needed therapy for.
Right there with you, my friend. I've been there.
Excuse me.
That's healthy. That's what people want to tune into right
Those
there.
are going to come out of left field.
Yep.
And if I got a fart, I'm probably going to... I have another microphone here that I don't have to put back up to my face.
That's even better.
But it's supposed to be for the echo dot, so...
Okay. Nothing like the smell of like omeprazole, Nexium, and fucking flatulence. That's awesome.
I don't even know. Like, you're talking about chemistry all of a sudden.
They're acid reducers over the counter.
Oh.
For your acid reflux.
I call those Tums.
Tums.
Tums or Pepto or some shit.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. So I guess this is like, I don't know. We didn't talk about what this podcast is about.
We didn't even have a script or nothing like that.
I know,
what I
it's
said was,
pretty
I'm
sweet.
probably going to show up high and we can talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And then
I don't know if I ever show up places high.
This is kind of what happened.
Like, I think I just am.
Like the inception of your podcast was you dropped a status on Facebook and was like, I'm going to call my new podcast Death by Cheeseburger. And I was just kind of like, great, because I'm going to be on that bitch when you do.
Yeah.
And then like what happened was I found your basement and wandered in and kind of like a hitchhiker with a purpose. And here we are.
I think the funny thing is if you look at the back wall in the basement down here, if we rip those shelves out, we could probably get like 20 people down here.
You probably could.
And do like a little stand-up thing.
That'd be even
in front
better.
Of we'd have our own brick wall, and we'd have like an underground stand-up club.
Oh, dude, it'd be like Section 8 stand-up. I'd be all about
it. I wish I could afford to buy the house because I think that we're going to have to move out of it soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking for my own place anyway, but I think that the owners want to actually sell the place.
Yeah.
But they're asking like over $100,000 for it.
Okay.
And you've only seen the basement, but I assume you probably noted the shoddy construction.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what the fuck they're thinking.
Okay.
But it would be nice if I had the money just for that.
Yeah.
To have this, and then upstairs I could have like a bakery or something.
Okay.
You know?
So the
comedy club in the basement.
Right.
bakery.
To clue you all in, Matt was like, drive over to my house. We'll do a podcast. And I have no idea what a podcast entails. Like, I have a degree in computer sciences, but I don't often be like, I should record my own voice and just broadcast it throughout the internet. Whatever happens, happens.
That is a weird inclination.
It really is, though. It's kind of like ear rape, and I'm just trying to stay clear of it. And so, like, I'm over here now, and I've wandered into this man's basement. He's put a microphone in my face, and, like, my sound engineer is sitting against a Dragon Ball Z backdrop on his wall.
Yes. Sorry, I was reading words I probably shouldn't be reading.
It's
while
all,
I'm trying
it's
to
all
do
good.
This.
It's all good.
Yeah, that Dragon Ball Z tapestry.
Yeah,
we're gonna call it
tapestry.
Call it a tapestry.
Like it's formal all of a sudden.
Because I'm a fancy motherfucker. That came from. There's like a if you go through Bedford, all the way through Bedford for our multinational audience that's Bedford, Indiana. You can look it up on Google Maps, bitch. But the all the way like you're going to Mitchell. There's right at the end of Bedford. There's a consignment shop.
Okay.
And like I just happened in there with my mom one day.
Yeah.
I was like, you got a motherfucking Dragon Ball Z Afghan?
Up in Bedford of all places. Bedford couldn't even support Delta faucets. Like faucet companies leave Bedford, and like people always need water. So you got to wonder what kind of incompetence had to have that turnaround.
You couldn't. I couldn't explain it to you, but I do know that. Good luck trying to find that thing online.
Yeah,
like I was like, yeah, I'll give you $8 for that right now. Like, so that's traveled around with me ever since. And I was like looking at the white walls and thinking about how crazy I clearly am.
I see.
And I was like, maybe we should put up some decor.
All right, let's check in with Matt. Tell me how your day has gone so far.
How
like from when you woke up and went pee and whatever, and like embraced your morning wood with no one around you, to like what we're doing right now. Like, tell me the turn of events that led to us being here right now on your end.
Well, it started with last night when I was looking for a bag, and then I told you slightly after that I would be willing to try to do a podcast again because I've been having a rough week. And I was taking a minute. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks since I had my last Matt Signal podcast. And I've been really like teetering on that edge of like, sticking my toe into suicidal thoughts and whatnot. And then some shit happened in a personal. But anyway, last night I was finally like, all right, I probably got enough P&V to finally do a pod. So then you're like, cool, we'll do that. And then you texted me today that you had like 2 hours of work to do, and I napped.
Okay.
And then now here we are. Like, I woke up right before you got here.
I woke up and I napped like a supreme being. Like,
I took a day off of work.
I'm the boss of naps.
I was, I felt as if I needed some respite from my life.
Yeah, you took a mental health day.
Yeah,
I got you.
Pretty much.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
you're like, I took a sick day when I wasn't even sick because I feel well and I feel like I should enjoy something and work.
I need some time to maybe like play Titanfall 2 and jack off.
Okay.
And like pray.
See, I mean, like, if you jack off and pray at the same time, I'm pretty sure you're already asking for forgiveness before the deed is done.
I don't think God would not have given us our dick within arm's reach.
There is a particular passage in the Bible. Now, I'm an atheist, so it's not like I can actually quote this with like some spiritual resonance and some conviction, because I can't. I don't give a shit. But like, there is a passage in the Bible that says, "It's better to spill your belly or better to spill your seed in the belly of a whore than it is to spill it on the ground." Now, if they're talking about planting crops, you're not putting corn like seeds in whores. So I definitely think they're referring to masturbation on this one.
Yeah, I think maybe they are, but I think they also had far less people a couple thousand years ago, and I think they needed to make more people because they would have occasionally events like the Black Death.
Yes, there's that.
That would kill off millions and millions of people when they only had millions and millions to start with.
Right.
So I think that maybe it was, if you want to talk about a time where the patriarchy was encouraged.
The patriarchy.
Let's go back to
the
biblical
minstrel shed,
times.
the unclean women.
Yeah, when rape was just a proposal.
Yeah.
Like, rape meant you were getting married next week.
Right.
Like, so, anybody who wants to say in the Me Too movement that women's rights haven't advanced need look no further than biblical times.
Oh, dude, what I always enjoy are feminists who have no feminist facts. That's what kills me the most.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Women's suffrage, like, if you can't tell me the year women's suffrage occurred, or...
Which I can't.
Oh, well, obviously you're not a good feminist then.
Yeah, clearly.
You with your balls and dick and swinging around.
I know.
Fucking up feminism for the rest of the women.
Cis, white, male, most privileged.
Yes,
whatever.
exactly. Like Michelle Belichick is the first president of Turkey. Most in most of the countries in the Middle East, you have to walk at least 12 paces behind your husband.
That makes sense.
I can tell you like what a burqa is and that type of thing.
Well, I could tell you what a burqa is.
Yeah, and like
it's just a fancy beekeeper suit.
yeah, see, pretty much. And like you get this, and you get these women, and they're just kind of like, I want to vie for women's rights, and I'm like, but you don't know what those rights are. Like that's the significant portion of it. Like you want to hold a picket sign, you want to go down to various towns and outlets and like places and cause a disturbance
and pass out pussy hats
and pass out pussy hats and whatnot and show your tits, which I'm all for tits. I love tits.
Pro pussy.
Yeah, pro pussy all day, every day. Like sometimes even the dirty ones if I'm drunk enough. But the thing is, like, you don't want to tell me what women's rights entail. You just tell me that you want some shit. Like, that's the equivalent to a hungry 3-year-old coming around nap time talking about, I want some fucking goldfish crackers or something like that.
Only the 3-year-old's actually telling you it wants goldfish
Yeah, there's
crackers.
a definitive answer there. Like, it's going to lead to some type of fulfillment on the end of it.
Right.
Like, when you just have an absent-minded feminist who's just like, well, I want rights. And I'm just kind of like, well, bitch, I want millions of dollars too, but it ain't going nowhere now, is it?
Which rights do you want?
Exactly.
Like, do you want, I mean, to me it seems like they want the right, and I use the word they, but they want the right to never encounter an uncomfortable moment. And I don't know that we can provide that for any one man, woman, child. Like, uncomfortable moments are going to happen.
I'm with you right there, actually.
And it sucks because, yeah, I know the idea that men can easily overpower women. Like, I always try to be empathetic.
Right.
And, men can easily overpower women. And, like, but then again, you have guys like me where women have some kind of weird power over me. So, like, I don't know. I never have to worry about consent because by the time I sleep with a girl, I've already asked her like 900 times if she's sure she wants to do this.
Right, okay.
Bitch, I know what I look like. Yeah. Don't come back in 6 months and say that you didn't.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, you're going to say, he did eat that pussy good.
See? There you go.
I forgot what my original point was.
We were wandering off topic, I guess. Well, we were talking about our days and everything like that.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, basically, I just kind of like played video games and napped today.
Yeah.
And waited for this.
I see. I woke up today and I was hungry as fuck. So like I went ahead and did the eggs thing. And then I got online and that's where everything went south. Everything always goes south the morning I get online. Like in the morning when I get online. Because that's just like when I'm freshly inundated with all the things wrong in the world. And then it's like basically I got to go ahead and compare that to all the things that I think are wrong in the world. And that's when shit starts to go really south. Like there was a guy who was posting on a Facebook yard sale forum. Now, for those who don't know, I frequent these forums a lot because I have the potential to make $300 in a weekend based on my cleverly worded for sale ads, which are posted all over Tumblr without my knowledge and then quoted and misquoted by random people I don't even know claiming to be my friends. But that's Facebook for you. But anyway, there was a guy on there posting an ad. Now, it was basically, you ever heard of Cutco knives and Kirby vacuums and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the way they word these ads is they don't tell you what the job position is when they go ahead and put the ad out. They don't tell you the terms of pay, the pay scale, and they don't tell you any benefits or anything like that.
Right.
So what I may or may not have done was gotten on his post and basically just railed him out because I could tell by the wording that he worked for a company I'd worked for at one time, which wasn't accredited by the Better Business Bureau. They didn't have any type of benefits, like there was no actual 401k, no vacation time, no health insurance or nothing like that.
Right.
And the hourly wage was sketchy. And basically it was for a traveling inventory specialist job where you basically wear a polyester shirt, some black cargo pants, and then the whole situation basically goes south from there on. So you don't get paid for your time spent traveling. The schedule's hectic for the job. You got to get up at 3 a.m. and go inventory a fucking Kroger. And by inventory, you just count to 10, like ad nauseum, and then go ahead and put it into a little machine that's like a 7-pound clipboard with a calculator on the end of it. Okay. So this guy's over here, and he's vague booking the fuck out of it. He's like, so I have this job. Just go ahead and text this number. And he's like, steady pay, full-time hours. And then he's just like, potential for benefits. And I'm just kind of like, okay, what company are you with? And then he says he's with Washington Inventory Service. Now, basically, the way this works is you wake up at 3 a.m., you go to fucking Krogucci, you go ahead and lay out and, inventory shit 10 things at a time, from sunscreen to fucking, prostate vitamins and stinging nettle. It don't matter. So fucking, you do all that. And then they go ahead and they send your ass out and they get you in what I call is a state of job lock if you stay there long enough. And job lock happens to everybody. It's basically where you put in enough hours at a shitty job that you can't take the time and have the time to find another shitty job to replace that job. Right. Or a job that's less shitty. And so I'm thinking to myself, here's little naive Latoya over here. She's going to read his fucking ad. She's going to go ahead and get a little bit of hope for the first time in months that she's got some type of open prospects for employment. And then little Latoya is going to apply for this job, and within 3 months, she's going to be in debt to a fucking babysitter because she's getting up at 3 a.m. and working odd hours. She's going to be job locked into it to the point that her rent's barely paid and she's still on food stamps. And then Latoya is probably going to hang herself in the bathroom with whatever bath towel will hold her body weight.
Right.
And I'm just kind of like, and this guy's over here not telling anybody about this.
Yeah, like,
so what became his one job post turned into like a fucking 12-page thread with me basically just annihilating the guy verbally. And then like it was to the point where I was telling, like, he was trying to talk to me. He's like, "What you're doing is harassment." And I was like, "Go sit in the corner and wait till I'm done talking." I was like, "This is no longer your post. This is my post now.
I've stolen it.
I'm not gonna go ahead and do this." And he was like, "Look, if you talk to me anymore, we're going to get legal on it." And I was like, "Well, okay." And I was like, so I started tagging my friends. And I was like, "You guys can go ahead and talk to him then." And like, then it just became my friends making fun of the guy as well. And so, I did that. And then after that whole debacle, I found one of these nudes for pay girls on my friends list, who I didn't realize was there because I've got like 3,000 friends on Facebook. And that's not even like an achievement because I probably know 10 of them. So it's not even like I'm bragging. I'm just saying how many people I don't know.
It's those ads.
Yeah. And so fucking found a nude for pay girl on Facebook, and she was talking about for $50 she'd give you like 160 nudes or something or other. And I'm just kind of like, you'd be better off starting to GoFundMe because you're kind of busted. But she started putting up links of her home pages and where you could find her nudes and everything. And me being the swabby computer guy I am and everything, found the backdoor URL to where she hosts her nudes, and then I gave them out to their entire thread for free because, well, fuck her. That's pretty much where I was at with that. Like, she wasn't a classy person. She didn't have any redeeming qualities, and I was just kind of like, You're trying to go ahead and get people to buy $50 worth of your nudes. You want to sign them up for a $500 a month Patreon account and all this. And I was like, you must really think you're up there. Like, you must think you're actual fucking Beyonce.
Yeah, that's...
And like, the best thing about it was that she had floppy titties. And that's what got me. I was just kind of like, well...
And she's trying to sign people up for a $500
Oh, it's
a month
$500 a month Patreon.
You know, the funny thing is I actually had the thought occur to me that I'm definitely a pervert. So like I was thinking about because I'm having girl issues and women issues in my life, and I
gotta
also
elaborate on the issues, bro.
No, I'm not.
Podcast time, bro.
It's podcast time, but I'm not gonna get too personal with other people.
All right. I'll throw it under the bus. Like, look, homie, you ain't doing my mat right. It's not cool.
Nah, it is a complex situation, but anyway, I thought about putting an ad on Craigslist specifically for like a submissive-ish type girl.
Now you got to word the ad. That's gonna be the hardest.
Well,
part.
yeah, but you and I are writers, so I figured maybe I'd get together with you and
right.
We'll see what we can come up with. But I thought about taking a girl from zero to hero, who's like 18, just out of high school with no prospects, but she's still hot.
And
I was like, what if I can pimp her through the internet with just masturbation videos? Like, if I just keep her stocked with new sex toys and like get the right camera angles for her and shit, and like put music in the video and like edit shit for her, and like, so like she does the performance, I do the presentation. And then as a team, we eventually get other, and so we build this little army of there's
the office space of Chatterbait.
Yeah, an army of skanks. But I don't know that I really want to. It sounds like a pretty dark road when I say it out loud.
Well,
but like, I mean, dark doesn't necessarily mean not fun.
Not fun, no, not at all. I mean, sex is great in the dark, and that's definitely fun. So there's a start there.
Touche.
I'm intellectual as fuck today. All right. So, no, I used to post on Craigslist a lot. Like, about 4 years ago or so, Craigslist was my thing. That was, like, my ultimate score before I found FetLife.
Right.
And I'm an avid FetLife member. Like, I've been on Kinky and Popular on that website if you frequent it. It's just kind of like, who's who of FetLife, the most popular kids section on the front page.
Right.
And I used to go ahead and post Craigslist ads, and they were raunchy. And, like, the thing about posting a Craigslist ad is, like, it doesn't really matter, like, so much the subject matter. I've seen them in the casual encounters where a guy was, like, saying he was going to be in a hotel. He just wanted the girl to show up in a dark room and start playing his original NES. And he wanted her to play Mario Brothers while he fucked her from behind. And that was it.
Dude.
He was like, don't talk to me. Don't speak to me. Don't turn around and acknowledge me. He's just kind of like, take this dick, get to Warp 4, and then bounce. And that was just kind of his ad.
That's like one of the coolest like nerd fantasies I've
oh
ever
my God.
heard of. I want to anonymously bang you while you... So this is Mario 3?
It was like no, it was the old school NES, just regular Mario Brothers.
The regular.
Yeah,
yeah.
he was like by
And
warp
you
4
better,
I should come.
Yeah, you better know how to get ahead in the level. Like, can you get to World 8 before I finish? I could get to World 8 before he finishes. I know how to get through there.
Like I think the high speed record for completing the original Mario Brothers was like 5 minutes and 6 seconds or some shit like that.
Yeah, well, it's like there's like 3 secrets in that game, and 2 of them are where you jump over the top of the finish line, and then you go to a warp map, and then the other one's like apparently you can jump on a turtle and get like infinite lives.
Yeah.
At a certain point. But like that's a baller ass fantasy for a nerd, because he's just like socially awkward.
Oh, totally.
He doesn't want to deal with like introducing himself and like trying to be. He's like, no, I just need another socially awkward bitch who's good at Mario.
Like, not even...
and likes getting plowed from behind.
Right?
Anonymously in a dark room. This can't go wrong.
Like, we live in a day and age where, like, a handshake is replaced by a 2-dimensional avatar of your picture. And, like, where an actual greeting from voice to voice is, like, replaced by a text message. And everything now is so impersonal. But it's all, through the advent of technology. And even people who are, like, nerdy and who are all for fucking technology don't even want to use technology half the time to get a fucking date. Instead, they want to post on Craigslist talking about, I'm going to do you from behind by Warp 8. And, like, that's just, it's fucked up. It really is. It's just society we live in.
Out all the bullshit.
All the bullshit, like getting straight to the point. Like, I don't mind that we live in a Netflix and chill society. I really don't. Because some people are just convenient with the fact that they won't slut-shame each other, and they will fully admit they're just down the fuck.
Right.
That's totally fine. I mean,
well,
if
it's
you
not
go
like
ahead
that hasn't always existed.
I know, right?
It's
just
that
wasn't so
it was
prevalent.
like shamed
Yeah.
if you did.
Yeah.
And now we've had like the, I guess, sexual revolution that started back in the 60s, and it's went through up until today.
Right.
But the funny thing is that we're still like, if we are prudish about one thing, it's sex. But Netflix and chill, like, that's, I don't see, like, meet up, hang out at my place,
right,
and watch movies, and eventually have sex. You're just, like, not going out and spending money on a date. It's the same shit. You're probably going to have pizza. Like,
pretty much. I keep my fridge stocked with pizza. My girlfriend don't even like it, but you know what? It still leads to sex, so I'm okay with it. Yeah.
It's the gesture,
not
the flavor.
Right, exactly. No, my Craigslist ads were like really fucked up. I actually pulled one up before we even started this because I figured we'd probably talk about some Craigslist. And like when this goes down, either you or I are going to get a boner. I'm not sure which one of us is going to be honest with you.
Probably both.
Yeah, more than likely. All right, I always got official with it too. I was like, only replies with a picture will be considered, and this is where I'm really happy I have a nice speaking voice when I read things because at least
GTFO.
yeah, basically picture get the fuck out. Now, this is where I'm really glad I have a nice speaking voice when it comes down to this, too, because it at least sounds semi-erotic when I read it. I'm like, here's what I want from you. I want you to dress in black leather and lace and be ready for a night of passion. By passion, I mean I will assail your body with my tongue, cock, fingers, and anything else we can dream up. From the beginning of the night to the complete end, you belong to me. I will make you come again and again, and I will do so until I'm bored and I forget about you. And after you've long since tried to forget about me, there I will be, making you come again. I'm like Batman, but with a whole list of fetishes for BDSM.
That's awesome.
And this is the fucked up part, because I literally had to find something like true about myself to put into the ad, because the more like accurately you talk about yourself, the more realistic the ad is, and the more people can relate to it. And I was like, I prefer dark-colored, blue or black eyeshadows, red and pink lipsticks, and light on the foundation. It's your face, not a fucking med exhibit. Oh, and here's where it gets twisted. Like, it gets real worse after this. Like, I basically go ahead and say, I don't respect, like, the institution of marriage or relationships at all. I just want vagina. And, like, it gets nasty. I was like, I could give a shit how old you are. I mean, hopefully I'm not a pedophile or nothing. But as long as you have age and possess daddy issues and semi-low self-esteem, then I'm enthralled. I was like, I want you to walk through my door wearing black lace with preferably pink or white accents. I don't want to exchange pleasantries. I don't give a shit about your favorite movie, how lopsided your child's head looks in their elementary school pictures, and about your boyfriend who is probably waiting for you at your overpriced rental that the two of you share. I don't care about your monotonous day job and your shortcomings or aspirations. And more importantly, I don't want any fucking college students. I could care less about your whimsical path of a self-exploration and rebellion and how many times you vomited Boone's Farm the other night. I don't need to listen to someone complain about irreparable student loans and shitty intro to Who Gives a Fuck courses and about how your parents mortgaged their home so you could be raped, drunk, and staring intently at a Starbucks menu. I want pure sexual slavery from you. I want to leave your lips stretched and swollen from forcing my cock into your mouth. I want to smell your hair as I run my hands through it and pull it at random as I force more of me into the back of your throat. I want to hear you gasp in ecstasy as I kiss and bite at the nape of your throat and rub the tip of my pre-cum soaked cock all along the lips of your labia. I want to massage your tits and run my tongue along your nipples until you're hypersensitive and pleading for me to stop, and only then will I take them into my warm and waiting mouth. I want to feel your back arch and your body spasm as I slide my hands down your soft stomach and down your pussy to tease your outer labia. I want to slide my fingers around your clit and let you lick your own juices off my fingertips. I want you tied down and helpless. I want to be looking deep in your eyes at the exact moment you realize you now belong to me and there's not a fucking thing you can do about it.
Well, damn.
That was how I approached Craigslist, and there was nothing politically correct about it.
Get the
the
timing
pause
right.
track. Oh,
I was on my way, but you finished.
it's all good, bro.
So, all right, that's the kind of podcast this is going to be.
It's like, is it 50 Shades? Because they already talked about feminism and hacking back doors to porn websites, and now we're talking about Craigslist casual encounters. Oh, here we go. I'm glad I could use the encore. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, this was produced in front of a live studio audience. So that I have to assume that ad probably. God damn it!
Look at the people know what they like.
Yeah,
the people know what they're into.
They keep coming back for more.
Holy shit!
I don't even have a video open, and it's still a
I don't even know. It's exit out YouTube, I guess. See what happens.
Oh, man, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I thought the applause was stalking us. So that was a really good ad.
They're really happy.
We're
with
not
it.
finished clapping yet. Don't walk away, you son of a bitch.
Yep.
We're clapping for your ad.
For the ad. It's all about the ad.
My favorite ad is that white chair of self-importance.
Oh, yes, the white chair of self-importance. I put on a yard
sucks
sale
that
for
some
him.
guy beat me to it.
Oh, yeah. And essentially, it was a leather office chair I found on the curb by an office, and they were throwing it out. And they were just kind of like, "No, you can take this." And I was like, "Good," because this looks like a really important chair. It had chrome armrests, and it was white leather and everything else. And I was like, "This just looks like a chair you'd sit in to make really large decisions. Like what kind of decisions you could make, like hoodie versus sweatshirt today, or like banquet dinner versus frozen pizza." Or the age-old, like...
Pot pie or ramen noodles.
Pot pie or ramen noodles. Like, it just looked like everybody's dream of self-importance. DVDs or Netflix today. Yeah.
Always Netflix. Fuck DVDs. I don't watch DVDs because that means eventually I got to go back and take it out so that I can put the video game back in.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just like, if I can't get it digitally, it's not happening.
Like, whatever DVDs I've owned, I've always left out until the shiny side looked more battered than Ray Rice's wife. And like, then it's just kind of, it's not even worthwhile after that. Cause like, I'm just kind of like, well, I'm going to put domestic abuse back in its case. And this will be the last time I watch Good Will Hunting. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the last time you watched Good Will Hunting should have been the first time you watched Good
It's
Will
one of my
Hunting.
favorite movies, bro. How could you not get down with Good Will Hunting?
I don't think I've ever watched it. I just know
You really haven't?
I just know that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are in it, and they're rape enablers.
It's like rape apologists is what they are.
They are bastions of the patriarchy.
I see, of the patriarchy.
They are the antithesis of the Me Too movement.
I
And
see.
I am very liberal and feminist.
Yeah, Matt Damon's like, you wore a short dress, you asked for it.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon. I see.
Actually, I'm at the point where I'm getting annoyed with movements in general.
All of them? Or
Yeah,
like
just I
certain
don't give a
ones?
shit what your movement is anymore because you've all annoyed the piss out of me.
Okay, all right.
And I like the thing that I don't understand how these people have all this free time to go down and like.
All right, this is legitimate. This is
like,
worth hearing for sure.
I have a lot of free time because I've designed my life that way.
Yeah.
And I still don't have enough fucking free time
Yeah.
to go and march at a state capitol all day. Like, I got bills to pay. Like, how are
Okay.
these people just, what are they doing?
That's actually a really good question.
Like, and why is it that I'm able to go and get a job and be functional in society, but shit's so bad for you? Why is it that I know 100 women you can line up, and if you asked any one of them, if they had any trouble dealing with the men in their workplace, they'd be like, "Pfft, what? Like these fucking losers. Like,
okay.
These are battered women who have been in the systemic like workforce for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of these women actually saw a little bit of what really needed to be done back in the past. And I'm not saying everything's equal and harassment's bad and rape is terrible. Like I'm a rape survivor. So like I have empathy. It's that's a fucking loose term, but whatever. Anyway, it's like, but your movement is not, you're not giving any room for discussion.
I understand, yeah.
You're just yelling shit at people.
Yeah.
And so even me, who is a person who is like, I guess we could put it as a victim of sexual assault, and then who was like then directed to do other various bad things that it went on for years.
Yeah.
And it fucked me up. So, like, I'm a little stunted socially in my growth, and I don't recognize social cues altogether. Like, I get most of them. I get the big ones.
You have, like, a limited form of Asperger's because someone touched your penis.
Basically, that's what that's what it's... And so there's people like me that are going to get caught in the crossfire because I'm asking a question because you say something general like, it's time to get creeps out of the workplace. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because people have called me creepy.
Yeah.
I'm not a creep, like, but you've called me that, so now I'm guilty of it?
Yeah.
Because, like, what? I zoned out in my head because of my fucking PTSD, and I'm doing a 1,000-yard stare in your general direction, and you're 87 feet over there? What kind of ego do you have that you think I'm sitting there undressing you with my eyes? I'm actually trying to think about what I would have done different to save the younger kids in my family that were exposed to that shit.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not very athletic, but if I saw someone trying to rape you, I'd probably help.
I understand.
No. Not rape you. I'd help stop them.
I didn't think we were going to go ahead and
Yeah. If I saw someone raping you, I'd probably jump in and make it a DP.
Throw them a basketball and be like, why don't you try out for the NBA instead? You can get a felony that way too.
So no, it's like I don't understand the parameters of what we call creepy behavior, or what. Like, I've had people just accuse me of stalking them before.
Sure.
And I didn't.
Okay.
Like, I never followed them anywhere. We worked in the same department, so we happened to cross each other's paths 3 or 4 times a day. But I wasn't following. I had to go take a piss, and you were between me and the bathroom.
Right.
I'm supposed to walk around the other side. Like, I don't understand anymore what the goal is, because everywhere I've worked that has any form of, like, HR to it, take sexual assault or like sexual harassment allegations seriously because it's a potential lawsuit.
Sure, yeah.
But then apparently there's all these places that I don't know about. So in society, we all got to be treated like pervs. And it's like, well, you could just not work for that guy who owns the hardware store that still has like old Timmy's hardware on the front of the building. Like, you chose to work there.
Right.
And it's just like, shitty waiters who get pissed when you don't tip them. It's like, I didn't fill out your job application.
Right.
Why am I paying for it?
Yeah, I can see that. No, I mean, the thing you got to realize is, like, there's a difference in a society and how we deal with things when it comes to, like, fault and responsibility. Like, you're not at fault because someone touched you in your downstairs when you were a child. You're not at fault because someone went ahead and, like, ingested a bunch of illegal substances or legal substances around you, altered their state of mind, and then forced you to do things you weren't comfortable with.
Right.
But what you are responsible for is dealing with the aftermath of how you go ahead and associate with that. There comes a time when you can have so much wrong happen to you as you get older that you have to stop using that as a cop-out to go on with your life and everything. Well, I can't do such and such because this happened to me and everything. You'll always find a way to cope, whether it be a healthy coping skill or an unhealthy coping skill. That's why drugs abound, and so does therapy. But, like, basically, that's the difference, though, is you have to go ahead and have to deal with your own internal conflicts. And, like, when you don't deal with those internal conflicts about the things that happen to you, then, like, your perception is skewed of other people because you're still hyper-vigilant, you're still hyper-aware of what people are going through. And so when someone, like, does say, well, I think you're being creepy and everything, and all of a sudden you've just stared at them, you have to wonder who in their past has stared at them in such a way to make them feel that way. And why are they equating that stare with you in your eyes in the same in a situation that's completely different, but they're thinking it's the same situation?
Right, and I can understand that. So if you were to go to management and say, just tell them you felt that I was staring at you creepily.
Right.
And then you pull me up there and we have a conversation about it. You're going to find out that actually we probably have a lot more in common than you know.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I just happen to have my head tilted in your general direction, but The problem is that now it's the mood of the conversation. It seems that the moment you're accused, you're guilty.
Oh, totally.
And so there are people who get fired, they just get axed, and they
Yeah.
probably haven't actually intentionally done anything wrong.
I have literally worked a job. Now, I worked for like a Fortune 500 selling insurance here in town. It's a prominent one. I had a bit of like a small corner area desk and everything, and I had a little team of people working under me. And I spent most of my day jerking off in the bathroom. I'm not even going to lie. I played a lot of World of Warcraft on the company laptop,
Right.
and I kept a fifth of booze in my cubicle, and I just went ahead and sipped on it because I hated my life and I hated that job that much throughout the day. Now, I was sent down to human resources at this job that was so prolific and awesome and defining with a bunch of defining moments in my life. And I talked to human resources. And human resources at the time was a young girl who we'll just call Sarah for the sake of, naming someone. And Sarah was in her early 20s, and I was probably like a year older than Sarah.
Okay.
And Sarah went ahead and admonished me or something or other because I guess I was making dick jokes. And I might have been making dick jokes because I was at the job. I was drunk and I hated it.
You were making dick jokes.
I was making dick jokes. And so she went ahead and she told me how she didn't express that and everything. But anyway, that same night that I was hauled in human resources, there was a company function at a local bar here in town.
Okay.
It was a bar where you can drink booze out of a bucket and pass the bucket around to the other person at your table.
Sweet.
Yeah. So we were drinking mixed booze out of a bucket. Didn't matter what it was. Just know it was $22. And so that night she hit on me openly and everything, and she was the HR girl. Now, I was married at the time, but didn't mean I didn't stray from it or nothing like that because,
Right.
well, my ex-wife, her blood type was gold. And if you had enough of it, she'd go ahead and fuck you too.
Right.
And so basically, like, what it boiled down to was HR girl was just kind of like, why don't we go in the bathroom and get it on? And I was just kind of like, didn't you just give me this long lecture and make me sign a piece of paper today about dick jokes? And I was like, and now you're literally wanting to see my dick. And that whole story pretty much sets the tone for the world we live in.
Yeah.
Like, basically, what you're viewed as creepy and, like, what could be possibly bad and everything. Because you should know as a person, unless you have some type of fucking social disorder or you have some type of, like, prevalent mental illness, schizophrenia included and all the crazy shit, like, with an abundance of fucking dopamine and everything else, what is right and wrong. Like, you should have a good understanding. But, like, from the moment she went ahead and chastised me for making dick jokes to, like, 6 hours from that point when she went ahead and wanted to see my dick, like, I couldn't have been more confused. I really couldn't have. I was, oh, no.
And that's where, like, I don't think women realize that it's not just men are fucking, like, we hate you. We are confused by your evil, soul-stealing devil vagina magic.
It's the vagina magic.
And, like, some of us, some of the weaker amongst us, give in to their boners and take what they don't deserve.
Totally.
Like,
by far and away.
And that's not cool.
Not even close.
But to take then and... yeah, my issue is always then to take people who aren't really doing anything wrong for the sake of a movement and just bury them.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you read the Louis C.K. story, like, I don't know how much of that you read.
I haven't had a clue, but you can clue me in.
All right, so basically there were, like, I think it was 3 different, one was a comedic actress and 2 were, like, stand-ups.
Yeah.
Who, at different points when they finished projects with Louis, he asked them to come back to his hotel room. Well, one of them he asked to come back to his hotel room and watch him jerk off.
Okay.
And then apparently he just did it in front of a couple other people.
So he just felt like jerking off, so he was gonna.
Right.
Okay.
But then if you read everyone's description of the story, the women were not forced to be there.
Ah.
At the time that it occurred, Louis C.K. was not at some like magical high level in stand-up. It was a few years later when he really took off.
Okay, when he got famous.
And so, like, really what it was, yeah, he may have been a little more advanced than them.
Yeah.
But he just had a weird kink, and he liked the idea of, like, getting an unsuspecting girl to watch him jerk off.
A little exhibitionism in his masturbation, I guess.
So, but from what everyone said, like, when someone actually said, no, don't do that, he didn't do it.
Okay.
And so he's just a perv.
He's just a perv.
Whatever. He's a stand-up. He's a fucking bald, redheaded, middle-aged stand-up comedian. Of course he's got some perverted shit.
Right, right.
Like, but we all do. Like, we all
totally.
like sex.
Oh, by far and away.
But we all pretend like we don't.
Oh, absolutely. Especially, like, when it comes to, like, the environment you're in, the people you're around. Like, nobody ever just owns the fact that they're a pervert. Like, the difference between men and women is, like, when it comes to equality and everything, is men know that they're pervs, okay? Women don't want to go ahead and admit that they're pervs. Like, a man will watch a YouTube video of a woman breastfeeding a child, and he'll go ahead and get a boner off of that and everything, get mega excited, and, like, that'll be his thing. Like, he'll treat his body like an amusement park, up and down until it's time to get off, buddy. And then a woman herself, she'll just go ahead and she'll shrug off the whole thing, and she'll watch the same breastfeeding video and critique the child's latch method and go ahead and talk about the ramifications of prematurely weaning a child, right?
Yeah.
And like basically, women don't get perverted unless they're around other women who are okay with them being perverted. And like they'll go ahead and they'll go ahead and talk about a man and like all their bedtime stories just as well and everything. And like women will basically give other women what amounts to a Yelp review of a guy's performance in bed, right down from like his fucking like dick game and his pelvis game to like how he fucking smelled at the end of it when he broke a sweat, if he even broke a sweat.
Right.
And I'm just kind of like, you know,
how was he breathing?
Yeah,
like he was really wheezy.
She was like, I felt like he was fucking Darth Vader.
Yeah,
yeah, I can see it.
Literally, it's like cuddling Darth Vader if I get a girl to stay the night, though, because I got to wear that CPAP machine.
Right.
But it's funny because, I think about it, and I'm like, to call me rapey is laughable.
Right.
Because I'm not in shape enough to rape somebody.
There you go, yeah.
Like, I get winded when I wake up in the morning, and I have to figure out where my CPAP machine is. It's actually, I got to figure out where I'm at.
Okay.
And then in relation to where my CPAP
already
machine
disoriented. I got you.
So, and then by the time I get done, I'm just... And that's from taking a machine off that was forcing air into me.
Yeah.
So, like, to think that I'd have to train like I'm about to fight Vanderlei Silva in order to pull off a rape, and even then I'd probably need another 2 years just to make weight.
Okay.
So, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So, at worst, I've thought, man, she's hot.
Right.
And that's where it ended.
Okay.
Like,
I can see that.
Like, I don't just generally as a rule, I don't approach hot chicks anyway because I've had enough of them turn me down that I'm sick of their shit.
I don't even mind what a woman looks like. Like I've had girls who looked like 10s but had the personality of 2s, and I've had girls who looked like 2s but had the personality of 10s.
Yeah.
And like a woman can be look like the most beautiful woman in the world to me until she opens her mouth, and that's the self-defining moment of, do I continue to think about whether or not she's attractive?
Right.
Because if what comes out of her mouth is some vile, venomous, pedantic shit, I'm out the fucking door. Like I'm out the door like her husband just got home from work and like we was just doing something we shouldn't have been.
In his bed.
Like on his Spider-Man sheets. So that's just
I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just kind of like that. Like some girls will go ahead and over-gratify themselves too when it comes to how interested they think you are as a man. Like there are some girls out there who think, oh, it's always about somebody trying to force themselves on me sexually when a man's never done it. And I'm just kind of like in the realm of, you're not hot enough to rape, okay? I was like, you want me to do 20 years in jail for the one time we supposedly had sex and you weren't willing. And I was just kind of like, I'd rather keep the 20 years of my life, not go buy a bunch of duct tape, not buy a shovel, and hopefully not end up putting you in the same location as Lauren Spear so people don't catch on to that and that becomes a bigger issue.
Well, and the odds are that if I were going to choose a woman and decide that, okay, I'm going to rape this woman, which up until now, it's never happened.
Well, that's good.
She's going to be at least an 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10.
And, all right, we're back to the training. She's probably, like, she's well fit.
Oh, she's okay.
She'll probably
so you're
choke
fucked.
me out.
You're done.
And
you tried to rape Ronda Rousey.
Yeah,
and she just
and
slammed
that's
your ass.
what kind of fool do you think I am?
Right.
But more importantly, I don't understand. Like, I know this is just a weird kink, but I don't know why there are guys who actually have fun when there's no consent. I don't know if they're having fun or if that's just their way of beating a woman.
Right.
Because it's like I can't imagine. Like every time I've ever had sex was when the other person really wanted to have sex
That's
too.
just kind of what does it for me.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Like that's what turns me on the most is that they're into me.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a fucking narcissist.
Right.
So like, yeah, I don't get it, and I never will, and so don't fucking lump me in with those motherfuckers.
Right. Understandable.
And we'll get along great, and that's where but it's not just them. It also like. You go from the sexual assault thing into like Black Lives Matter, and you're automatically a racist if you critique black culture or anything that they do.
I don't even really view like Black Lives Matter as like a thing to me. I kind of view that as insignificant. Now, I realize there are people out there holding signs, and I realize there is an entire culture, based off African people, or as I like to say, black people, because they don't live in Africa, they live in America.
Right, and I've met many black people who said just say black people.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and so I just don't really view it as a movement because basically they're saying more black people are getting shot by cops and everything, and I'm sure that's actually the case because I've seen a lot of people people get busted for walking while black and driving while black.
Yeah,
That's a
that
fucking
definitely
thing by
happens.
far and away. Like, I always tell people who are my friends of color, I'm just kind of like, when you head to Martinsville, I said, don't ever stop and ask a goddamn cop for directions. I was like, not unless you got bail money.
Yeah, he's gonna point you to a place with a cross that's ready to be burned.
Pretty much. And like yeah, the movements themselves and everything, they always throw a fit, but they don't like actually analyze like why these people were fucked up. Now, there's a few cases out there where like, okay, yeah, a young black man, got him down because he's brown, NWA style, and he just existed, and all of a sudden he was hemmed up with the cops just for walking around.
Right.
And then there's some cases out there where you're legitimately in a cop's face being like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna brandish a weapon and we'll make an issue out of it."
What do you think's gonna happen when you do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk shit to a guy with an arsenal and like a radio network of communications to fuck me up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and not expect anything from it. Like, that's just not how it works.
Right. It's a weird mentality that they take on where it's very, and don't get me wrong, because I have a very pronounced problem with authority myself.
Oh, I totally do.
But I also know when to shut the fuck up.
Right.
And that's when the guy who's walking up next to my car with the giant spotlight blinding me from behind.
Of course.
There's a guy walking up on my left. There's probably a guy walking up on my right, and I don't even see him.
Yeah.
They both have guns. They both have billy clubs. They both have handcuffs. They both have mace. They both have everything they need to whoop my fucking ass and kill me if they need to. So I'm going to just be respectful. And it like reminds me of the time that I was probably riding the single most dirty I have ever ridden.
Oh, boy.
In more ways than one.
How dirty? Let's go for it.
So I had just gotten a promotion with we're going to say a previous employer.
Yeah.
And it was my first day in that new position. And I came into work and I got a little cocky because I was ripping these nice farts. And I wasn't working around anyone. So I was just kind of like, Brap.
Yeah,
oh, damn, that was like a 7.
Yeah, airing your grievances. I got you.
And then I had one that was just like, oh, man. And it left it really put some stank on it.
Okay,
and
tear gas out the ass.
A couple minutes later, I was like, man, it still smells. It should not still smell. But I didn't feel anything. Like, nothing felt out of sorts.
Yeah.
Until, like, I just went to take a step in a different direction or something.
Okay.
And I guess my pants adjusted just right.
Yeah.
And I felt wet.
Okay.
And warm.
Wet
and I was
warm.
like, oh, no.
Uh-huh.
So I scoot out of work, and it's a process to get ready to go in and out from work. So I finally get to the bathroom, and I got to survey the damage.
Yeah.
It's irreparable. Like, all I can do is make it so that I don't feel like the worst person alive driving home.
Okay.
So I have to find my group leader.
Yeah.
And basically I don't know what else to do. Andy's my buddy, so I'm just like, hey, dude, I know it's my first day on this job, and I got a new person coming in and all that. I shit my pants.
Uh-huh.
I got to go. And he's like, he started laughing, but then he's just like, oh, you're serious? And I was like, yeah, I got to go. I was like, but I could probably get back in an hour. So anyway, I run out, and I have my old car because the new one's in the shop getting damage done from a hailstorm.
Okay, what kind of car was it? Like, make and model?
It was a beige Mazda Protege, 2001.
Oh, okay.
It was a man my size, definitely. I kept butter on hand so that I could get in and out.
All right, so you need a lube just to enter and exit the vehicle.
It was a lubricated door technology.
Okay, I got you.
And I always came in like a cannonball. Like, I just fucking run, jump sideways, and hope for the best.
All right, so you were the inspiration for Cyrus's wrecking ball.
Yeah, only she's much uglier than me. So anyway, so yeah, okay. I jump in the car. The car is now unregistered. I haven't driven it in like 6 months.
Okay.
I didn't get the tags renewed. I don't have insurance on it. I decide not to wear my seatbelt because I felt like I didn't need to be forced into my shitty britches any further than I already was. I needed the freedom.
All right.
And in my car, I had 2 fully loaded, untouched marijuana pipes.
Marijuana pipes.
And
you got you got a pants. Pants are full of shit. Your pipes are full of marijuanas.
I got about 8 blocks from work.
Road trip.
And I got pulled over in a construction zone.
Okay.
And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, I could probably roll up here and get out. No, I'm pulling over right here in the cones. So I just pulled over right in the road construction, obstructed a whole lane of traffic.
Oh, even better. Okay.
This is a terrible day.
We've done pooped ourselves. We haven't even got a chance to get high, and already we're blocking the flow of traffic.
The cop walks up to my door, and he says, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, yeah, I didn't renew the tags for the car. And he said, well, that's true. He's like, you got the license and the old registration? I was like, yeah, here you go, man. He's like, so what's going on? Why are you driving this car like this? And I was like, new car's in the shop, getting work done. I didn't think I'd be driving this piece of shit anymore. I'm trying to get rid of it. But I had to get to work. I was like, unfortunately, I had a personal emergency, and I had to leave work. And he's, personal emergency, where do you work? I told him. Which one? I told him.
Yeah.
He's like, what's going on there? Like, he got concerned, like I was saying there was a security emergency. I said it was a personal...
Possible terrorist threat.
Yeah, well, maybe. This,
if
this
you
smell.
farted enough.
But so finally I'm like, officer, I sharted and I want to go home and take a shower. And he started to turn to go back to his car and then whipped his head back around. And it was the second double take I've gotten that day.
Uh-huh.
And he just goes, well, thanks for your honesty. And he walks back to his car. It's the quickest they've ever ran my license. And he comes back up and he goes, just so you know, this is a ticket. If you get pulled over again, I'm going to let you go home and take care of your situation. I appreciate you being honest. So on the way home, I just called and I was like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I've already gotten off too lucky for how bad things were. That I just can't afford.
Probably should have taken more time to adequately address the mud butt, too. That's a thing.
Well, yeah, and it was just like, but then the thing was like, I realized that odds are, if you're my size and you're a guy like, they walk up and you're already a sweaty, big, fat guy lodged in a fucking Pinto can-sized car.
Yeah.
And you just tell them you shit yourself.
Oh,
they're not going to want to put you in their squad car.
It's not like they're going to call your bluff either. That's the worst part. Like, if you
but
tell
if
them,
they do, what do you do? And I was like,
yeah.
I've had people ask me that because I was always like, I'm just going to tell them I shit my pants every time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, why wouldn't I? And they're like, well, what happens if they call your bluff? I was like, well, between the time that they cuff me and stuff me and take me back and fucking book me, I'm going to shit my pants.
Yeah.
And when we get there, they're going to be in for a rude awakening.
Right.
Like, because they're going to be the ones that have to handle all my clothes when I, like, switch out to the fucking jail uniform.
Yeah.
So here's my shitty britches, motherfucker. You thought you were smart. Like, but they're going to have to smell that all the way back in the car. And they, you know, I assume you've been in the back of a squad car.
Oh, I've been in the back of a squad car many times. Yeah.
The you know how it is, super tight on the knee room.
Oh, absolutely. The little back panel comes up on the
seat.
seat.
Window crack, quarter inch.
Yeah.
And so I'd just be up there sticking my nose out the fucking window, like,
yeah, I can see it.
Like, smell me now, motherfucker. They're sitting up front, like,
oh, I can totally see it.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just figured that's how I'm going to handle getting pulled over from now on.
I think that's probably a safe idea, as a matter of fact. You're probably going to get less tickets.
Yeah.
Like,
hopefully no cops listen to
this. Oh,
this.
my God. Like, I have irritable bowel syndrome. There is not a place I haven't shit my pants in. Like, here's the thing. Like, for those people in America, 50% will probably say they shit their pants. They'll admit it willingly. The other 50% will go ahead and lie about it because they've also shit their pants. Everybody shits their pants. I have had nights where I've went ahead and drank 8 or 9 beers and gotten myself completely rocked, and I went ahead and chased that down with some sausage and pepperoni pizza, and then I've woken up in the middle of winter and had my furnace go out, ran across the house because I had to shit, and I went ahead and shat down my leg down on the floor, and I had to come back and chisel up icicles of my own shit because I had no furnace and my shit froze to the ground. So I have, in a fit of hangovers and self-loathing, went ahead and chiseled my shit up with a paint scraper off my kitchen floor. And you know what? I still had a good night before.
Wow. I don't know that I have a story that's that tremendous.
Oh, it's let's see. I shit in a village. Let's see, at the dumpster corral at a village pantry one time. For those, I don't know. Is Village Pantry like a multinational thing? Is that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never seen them really anywhere else.
Yeah, it's a gas station, and like I've gone there to use a bathroom, and the manager's like, "You can't use the bathroom; it's for employees only." I'm like, "Bitch, you make $6.50 an hour. You don't get your own private bathroom." And so like then I've run around to the little dumpster corral and shit behind the dumpster.
Nice.
And he's like, "You need to go before we call the cops." I'm like, "What's he gonna do? Bag it as evidence? Because I'm good now. I'm on my way out, son."
I wish I could remember who was telling the story. It was a stand-up comedian, but they said that they went into a gas station. They had an emergency shit on deck. It may have been Ari Shaffir. It may not have been. But anyway, they refused to give him the key, and he's like, look, I can't go anywhere else. There's nowhere else close by.
Yeah.
I have to do that. Like, I know there's a toilet. Will you please let me use it? They said no, so he finally took a shit on the floor in the gas station,
which
I think is perfect.
Sure, why not?
If you're going to be the guy who refuses access to a toilet to a guy who's clearly about to shit his britches, fuck you. You get what you get.
I get totally. You should have some empathy for someone who's about to shit their pants.
Yeah, because everyone's been there.
Yeah, we've all felt that. You
or
should
you at the very
empathy.
least had the last minute close call.
Oh, totally.
Like running in like cheeks stay together like your Cheech Marin or something.
Oh, totally.
Like,
I can see it.
So fucking bathroom Nazis.
I'm with you all the way. Speaking of shit, did you check the State of the Union address?
No. What happened there?
I don't even know, because here's the thing: I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, and like I'm not even like a Hillary supporter. That's the thing.
Right.
Like so basically, like I can tell you the 2004 election was like the old guy versus the really black guy, and then I can go ahead and tell you that like this last election was kind of like the first lady versus like the other first lady looking guy, but like that's all I can really tell you about it.
I got you.
Because the thing is, like, I'm not Donald Trump. You know, while he's a billionaire, he inherited his money. What he did make, like, what did he get through, like, legal means or illegal means? I don't know. He didn't turn over his taxes. Not that this bothers me too much, but it is what it is. He's declared bankruptcy 4 times, and we're like, we're just going to go ahead and give him the ability to fund a nation and run our economy after he's declared bankruptcy 4 times. The man hasn't taken like an actual educational class to further his academia or like his business sense or anything since 1967.
Well, and then he also had the audacity to open up an unaccredited college with his name on it.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Is hilarious because he has no qualifications. Look, the guy is really good at building a brand.
Yeah,
that's it.
There's that.
But the brand itself, I mean, the thing that people are going to have to realize about, like, there's been this rise of the brand in business.
Yeah.
But they're going to have to realize is that the brand has to be backed by substance.
Yeah.
Or else the brand is useless, and that's why Trump hotels have closed, and that's why Trump casinos have closed.
Right.
Because there was nothing there that they were really bringing to the marketplace except this overblown fucking retard.
Yeah.
He had his name on it. That was it. He's just good at marketing.
Right.
But he's not actually marketing anything.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Like, when your campaign promise is pretty much, I won't play as much golf as the next guy, like, that's probably not going to seal the deal, and it probably shouldn't have sealed the deal.
You outpace him in golf rounds in
you
the
totally
first couple months.
You totally do. Like, he's played 8 times more golf than Obama ever did. And, like, he was talking about how he wouldn't take vacations, and he was a badass and all this, and he was going to be, down for America. And he's taken 41% of his total vacation time for a 4-year term in the first fucking year. That is like the commander-in-chief that everybody looks up to.
Well, but I don't even think he plans to be there through the end of the first term.
You think not?
I don't think he planned to be there in the first place. Like, I think it was to get his brand out.
Yeah.
I think he thought he was going to end up losing and he was going to go back to The Apprentice, but he was going to, he was going to be out there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Because everybody follows the shit to some extent.
Right.
And, like, he just fucked up and won because he was so stupidly different.
So he was like the accidental president of 2016.
Yeah. Nobody liked Hillary. Hillary, there was so much negative shit coming out about her that I don't think that the Democratic base was energized to come out and vote.
Right.
They felt they rested on their laurels after 8 years of Obama, who Obama was not really that liberal of a president. But that's neither here nor there. I don't think he was bad. He wasn't great. He was just there.
He did the job.
He did some stuff. It was okay.
Yeah.
Like, his heart was in the right place. But now, that there was a huge portion of America that gets shit on.
Right.
And it's really not anybody's fault. It's just technology and our needs have changed. So jobs like coal mining, truck driving, certain things are becoming less in demand.
Yeah, infrastructure pretty much.
And if you're not qualified for a modern work environment, then you're fucked.
Yeah.
And so they felt unrepresented. That swole up while Obama was in office.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Like, it's not that like it always swings back and forth and lands somewhere in the middle.
I always like how no one ever realizes it lands in the middle. Like everybody always blames the president for whatever happens. Like if the cost of gas is up in your neighborhood, fucking it's Obama's fault.
Right.
Or if like fucking the cost of eggs increase all of a sudden by 30 cents overnight, it's fucking Trump's fault or something like that. Like the average IQ of a voter for someone who votes for president is like around 104, 105. Now the average IQ of a person with special needs is around 80. So basically, you're about 20. The average IQ of a voter is about 20 points from needing someone to full time wipe your ass and wipe your mouth for you. And they're always talking about like as if they think their vote counts. It's really adorable. Like basically, like you're over there and like you're more handicapped than you are political at that point. And I don't think people understand that at all.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the way things are. You got the State of the Union pulled up. Is there anything catchy on it?
Well, I was
See if
thinking
there's a
about
highlight
seeing
reel.
if there was any like good sound bites, without taking someone's news piece on it. But Trump's State of the Union in 90 seconds. Let's check it out.
All right, 90 seconds. We'll condense it. Probably just clap for himself a lot.
Yeah. I am the hugest, greatest,
write
most
anything
American
on your
American
computer,
fucking
you need
ads.
to get Grammarly.
I need to
I
get
write pretty much
ad
all
block
day,
Yeah.
every day,
stat.
and Grammarly makes my writing
So
better.
Grammarly,
Grammarly.
this podcast is brought to you by Grammarly.
Apparently.
We'll be waiting on our check
Spelling
We're-
errors.
yep,
Even helps me
mhm.
find the right words
for
to
the
use, so I can
48
say
people
what I
that might
want to
listen to
say.
this.
Maybe
catches all
50.
those
I'll
Maybe
try
50.
really
Yeah,
hard
we'll-
this week.
We'll put it
before
out
I
on
send.
Craigslist.
Yeah, we'll put it out on Craigslist
The
for personal
President
ad.
of the United States.
Who's that bald
The state
motherfucker?
of our union is strong. Our massive tax cuts provide tremendous relief. The stock market has smashed one record after another. Unemployment claims
There's
have
no
hit
concrete numbers
a
to this.
45-year low. African American unemployment's lowest rate ever. The biggest
I
tax
saw that.
cuts
That was actually
and
fact check
reforms
fact
in
check
American
true.
history.
Was it really?
We have ended
21.6.
the war on American energy. The individual mandate gone. Fixing the injustice of high drug prices. Prices will come down. Watch.
Yeah, ask Martin
Tonight, I'm
Shkreli.
calling on Congress to finally
Fuck that
close
guy.
Yeah.
the deadly loopholes that have allowed MS-13, and other criminal gangs to break into our country.
He's
Americans
really upset with these
are
Mexicans.
dreamers too.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
extinguish
he's-
ISIS, tough sanctions on the dictatorships in Cuba and Venezuela. Then the cruel dictatorship in North Korea. We are waging a campaign.
Yeah,
of
talk shit to the
maximum
Koreans. That
pressure.
works out
We
well.
must modernize
did
our
so great last
nuclear
time.
arsenal. I just signed.
My nuclear
an order
bud's
to
bigger
keep
than
open
yours.
Guantanamo Bay. I am asking
Hell yeah,
Congress
torture
to
people.
address the fundamental flaws in the terrible Iran nuclear deal. Thank you, and God bless America. Good night.
God bless
Is he
me.
going to clap for himself at the end? Oh, they didn't show that part. I guess he clapped for himself like fucking more than 10 times throughout the whole State of the Union
course he
address.
did.
He's like, I must applause. I was like, somebody give him a job at SeaWorld.
I hate that. Anybody who thinks it's a good idea to wear that hairstyle,
Oh my God.
I already hate their gut. I've hated Donald Trump since like 1994.
Right.
So I don't know why people think all of a sudden I'm going to flip when he's like the president. He's still the same jack off he ever was. So basically, what he did was he said a bunch of hype words.
Yeah.
And he rattled off a couple of facts.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 90 seconds of 100 hour and 15 minutes. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
basically just the same buzzwords you've seen again and again on social media.
But even in that little clip, it looked like he was about to stroke out 3 times.
This is pretty much it.
So I was like, how did that look in the whole speech? Like, I might have to go back and look at it because I wonder how many times he was just like, I'm ready for a nap.
Oh, he was getting catatonic as fuck. You could see it. Like, the only thing missing was a hospital gurney and a fucking EKG monitor. Dude, politics. Like, that's the thing that gets me. Like, the man drinks 12 Diet Cokes a day, doesn't exercise a single amount, taking 41% of his overall vacation time in the first year of a 4-year term. And we're going to go ahead and be like, this is the guy we trust to go ahead and diss ethnic groups. And this is the guy we trust to go ahead and moderate our immigration policy.
The good news is that when you described that, I just realized there was a path for me to become president of the United States.
Oh, there's hope for anybody if Trump can do it, buddy. I promise you.
I fit a lot of that description
Yeah.
myself, but
Yeah.
it was like, I don't look to me to lead. Like, I don't think I'm
Yeah.
a lead. A lot of people have put that on me, like,
Right.
and I always fall short of that. Like, I'm not a leader. I'm not really a follower. I'm more of like, if I agree with you, I'm a
Yeah.
good person to have on your side.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'm an individual. Like, but I don't want a flock of people following me.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know.
My girlfriend always labels me as a non-traditional, like non-conformist. She's like, you don't like not conform to everything because you want to not conform. She's like, you live in a camper, you shit in a bucket, and you live off grid because you like cheap rent. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, people would think you're doing that to like basically decrease your ecological footprint. And I was like, I don't give a fuck about that. I was like, I just know a wood stove don't make me have $100 heating bill.
Right.
And then she's like, and the way you go ahead and assert yourself socially, she's like, you're self-employed, you write books, you go ahead and, you try various side endeavors and stuff like that. Like, you'll spend your last dollar if you can make $10. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'll try anything once. And she's like, see, people aren't like that, though. She's like, people are just kind of herded around in groups and everything, and everybody has a boss. She's like, you pride yourself on being your own boss. And I was like, yeah, because, I grew up in, like, my first book was called Broken Bonds. Like, basically, for every bond I was supposed to have with my father, like, I had a white trash hysterical outcome of why we didn't bond.
Right.
There was no, like, trust. There was no, like, humility or genuine care or concern. And there was no love. Certainly none of that. And so I was just kind of like, this led me to realizing early on that, like, I shouldn't be the same way everybody else has. Because, like, even when I conform to the standards of people who, appear healthy and, like, emotionally stable and everything like that, I'm still fucking miserable.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the, like, it's weird because I've found I've really isolated myself from most people.
Right.
But then I look at it and I'm like, I want interaction, but like the people that I want to be around, I don't know that they would have me.
Uh-huh.
And then the people that would have me, and not all of them, but they're negative. Like, they're a negative force on my life. So it's like,
right.
I love them, but at the same time, you're taking away from my life energy.
Dude, that's like my whole family and stuff.
And so it's like, I don't know what to do because I'm too much of a piece of shit for the good energy people.
Right, right.
And I'm not enough of a piece of shit to want to be around some other people.
Right, right.
And so,
You're like
or
in
I
social
just
limbo.
don't want to hurt anymore. Like, I don't want to deal with people who like don't have concern for how I feel, or like don't realize that their actions have consequences on other people.
Sure.
So, yeah, it does put you in a weird, like, social
purgatory.
Sort of purgatory.
Yeah, I
it's
can
like,
see that. Okay.
Fuck, man. This, and then occasionally you find a guy who realizes he's fucked up too, and like,
totally.
now we can bond on something. But it's like, God damn, man, it's a weird world right now.
Oh, it totally is. Like, I have the type of family who, like, just basically cooks meth, makes moonshine, and gets caught stealing on a frequent basis. Like, basically, if I go ahead and I ask if I can come to Christmas dinner, they're just kind of like, no, you can't come to Christmas dinner. And I'm like, well, why not? And they're like, because we don't want your intellectual bullshit going on over here while we're trying to open all our stolen Christmas presents.
Yeah, we don't.
I'm like, well, sorry, Bobby Sue. I didn't mean to ask then.
Yeah, we don't want no smart thoughts here.
Yeah, yeah. She's like,
I've literally been told, and it's my grandma and I, like, the way we play is political arguments.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she knows I only half believe what I'm saying, but I'll always devil's advocate everything she says.
Right.
So, like, but I've literally had people say, we're sick of your intellectual garbage. And I'm like, do we all know what the word intellectual means?
Right.
Like, you're trying to criticize me by complimenting me.
Like, are you going to start bragging that you were on the football team of your GED program? Because they didn't have football teams, pal.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, but okay, I get it that the liberal movement doesn't resonate with like lower middle class people.
Yeah,
and I understand, it's fine. But yeah, I have that same thing. I don't think we got any meth cookers right now, but
no,
we have.
Yeah,
and we've definitely got a couple that are in and out of prison for stealing. So yeah. Sounds like our families would have an interesting holiday together.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be one big barbecue for sure.
Yeah,
like, they'd be burning everything from, like, crosses to fucking steaks. That'd just be how they're getting along.
Yeah, most of them, though, it's the thing I've found with most people is if you can get through their outer layer of bullshit, most people, no matter where they're at on a political spectrum, are decent.
Yeah.
And, like, most of my family, I think, are great people with good hearts, but I have a hard time relating with them because I've also been I wasn't in the tribe for like 15 years.
Okay,
So I moved right after middle school.
Yeah.
And then came back, and so they've all been tight-knit this whole time.
Yeah.
And then I was just out doing my own thing. So, I don't know, I never really fit right back into things.
I used to resent the hell out of my mother when I was younger because she wouldn't let me associate with my father's side of the family.
Right.
And that's the students of modern chemistry and, the people who get caught with rampant thefts and whatnot.
Students of
Oh, yeah. And, like, fucking, it's just the way they are. And I used to go, and she'd be like, they're dramatic. You don't want nothing to do with them and stuff like that. And I literally, like, have a half sister from my father because, well, alcohol leads to sex is pretty much how she came about in there. And she was the type of person to yell at me during a funeral right next to my dead cousin's corpse. And, like, that's the type of person she is. And she'd be like, I heard about what you said on Facebook. And, like, normally I wouldn't give in to, like, her bait and switch shit, like, right there in the middle of the funeral. But I'm just kind of like, if you fuck 5 dudes at once, that makes you a whore. I'm sorry. And, like, that's just the type of family I come from where, like, my sister wants to fight me at a funeral next to my dead cousin's body. And I used to really resent my mom over that and be like, my mom just don't want me to have family. My mom wants me to be alone. That bitch, I don't like my mom.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I just kind of realized mom was right. And, like, the thing is, I don't ever want to tell my mom she was right, though. Because then that means I got to go ahead and, like, grovel a little bit for how much of a shit I was in my teen years.
Yeah.
And be like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I used to yell and scream at you about how I didn't have a family. And I was like, because you were right. But then again, I'm just kind of like, she don't get the satisfaction. Like,
I already went back and did that. I was just
yeah.
like, yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I have one really cool uncle on my dad's side, but it's like he's an indie and it's really hard to ever, like, he's got 2 kids and all that shit. So, like, it's hard to ever see him, but he was always cool. But
yeah.
everyone, that's distracting.
Better fix it.
Thank you. Everyone on my dad's side was, for the most part, like either an alcoholic,
Right.
or an addict, but not just an alcoholic or an addict, but to a destructive extent.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, and then there's another side of the coin where people, like, make excuses for people to do shit, like they enable them.
Oh, by far and away.
And I don't know. Sometimes it's like you can't bear to tell a kid the truth.
Oh, yeah.
About their other parent.
Oh, totally.
And it's
yeah.
like, well, the reality is that it shouldn't be a matter of, like, I want to be dad if I am with mom.
Right, right.
You either want to be dad or you don't.
Yeah.
So then you're basically trying. They don't realize this is like typical alcoholic behavior.
Oh, yeah.
That they walk you into this thing. They guilt trip you for making them feel a certain way. So then they had to do the behavior that led to the consequences. And then they come back and they start that whole fucking cycle over
yeah,
again.
It's definitely a cycle.
And they're a great guy for a while.
Oh, sure.
Until, they're not getting piss tested every day.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then they realize, oh, I could drink like 3 beers and then I have a day and a half before I have to report now.
Right, right.
Because it's been 6 months.
Sure.
Oh, now I got to wait a week before I report. I got to get fucked up for 6 days. Like, and it just starts again.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not that, like, it's not to say that your dad's not your dad or that you shouldn't love him, but
Okay.
it's a bad thing to enable, like, I don't know.
It's
like,
a bad thing to make excuses to go ahead and enable the cycle to continue, and no one actually goes ahead and says, "Hey, this is not okay. This is fucked up. Put down the bottle."
You
like,
need to-
where it leads. You're already on paper with the county.
All right, the
and paying
things you've
fines.
done, here's what's happened. The things you've done have caused me to no longer want to be with you,
Yeah, yeah.
but your kids love you.
Sure.
And it seems like you love your kids. So if you want to see your kids, you can see your kids. Well, I'm only going to see the kids if you're here. I'm not going to watch my kids
Yeah.
while you go out and have your own life.
I always love that. Like, I'm going to babysit my own children. Like,
They're not. You're not watching them. They're
No.
your fucking kids.
That's the
dude.
way it works. Yeah. I totally get it.
Like, so, okay, so then mom gets tricked into this whole fucking thing again because she feels too guilty to say,
Totally. It's a cycle.
look, mommy doesn't want to be with daddy anymore.
Right, right.
And daddy doesn't want to be daddy unless mommy's there with sucking his dick.
Yeah, by
And
far
I
and away.
mean that metaphorically, not even literally. Like,
Filleting his ego.
yeah, fluffing his fucking cause.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
It's like, what's the mess? What's the message that you're sending to kids?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's the message when you have a couple of daughters.
Yeah.
It's okay to grow up and be with someone who makes you feel miserable about yourself,
Right.
as long as when it's convenient for him, he's nice to his babies.
Right, right, right. See, I had this long-winded conversation with my therapist a while back because I do have PTSD. I am a sexual trauma survivor, and I did grow up in a white trash satire of a trailer park.
Right.
And So basically, like, I had this conversation, and my therapist was asking me about the willingness to please my mother because her birthday was rolling around, and I got her like a little roll top desk from a thrift store and stuff like that. And he's like, "Now, do you always often want your mother's approval?" And I was kind of like, "Fuck no." And he's like, "Now, when you go ahead and when you're with women, do they treat you about how your mother would? Do they neglect you? Do they go ahead and talk down to you? Do they go ahead and insinuate that you're not as intelligent as you really are?" Do they go ahead and do they knock your aspirations and stuff like that? And for the longest time, what I didn't want to admit to myself is that I had basically mommy issues until I was about 24, 25. Right. And I didn't fucking realize I had mommy issues. Eventually, I just snapped and realized I wanted a healthy relationship. And I put all that shit behind me. But there for a while, like, basically what got me off was chaos. Like, the more shitty she treated me and the more neglected I was and the more I had to use sex as a bargaining chip and go ahead and get out my wallet to go ahead and get her approval, like, that's the more I wanted to be in that relationship.
Yeah. I find that, like, I'm attracted to people who are in similar situations that my mom was in.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So, like, my mom is awesome.
Yeah.
She busted her ass to take care of 2 kids.
Yeah.
But what happens is I seem to draw these chicks that, like, what happens is their ex has it's introduced to me in this scenario. Their ex is in jail or prison or whatever, and I'm naive. I like the attention of a relationship, like, and so I go into, and then I don't realize that they still have these feelings or whatever, or they're not like ready to go out and take charge of their life.
Yeah,
and or. They don't want to, they think that they're doing something to the kid, like that kids are always going to be happy with everything that ever happens and no bad things are ever going to happen to kids.
Right, right.
Like, so they get, basically what happens is random hero pops back up and I lose my girl.
Yeah.
But along the way, I've also fallen in love with their kids.
Oh, sure.
Because I like kids.
Yeah.
And I want to have a family. Those are 2 very pronounced thoughts in my head.
Right, right, right.
So now, not only am I attached to this woman who I love,
sure,
because I fall in love pretty quickly, but then I'm also attached to these 2 kids, and I thought I was going to be stepdad. Yeah. Never once in my life have I suggested that real dad shouldn't have a relationship with them.
Right, right.
And I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to make that cooperative and work for everybody.
Yeah.
But no, dad's a real selfish cunt, and he makes everything blow up and go his way, so that he can do this whole cycle again, and he gets 1,000. Like, how I keep getting caught in the same thing.
What you don't realize, and what a lot of people don't realize, I think, when they're going ahead and delving into social situations, is that if you grew up in chaos, what you're essentially going to seek out when you're older is chaos. Because basically, to you, that chaos is comfort defining. A lot of people become so accustomed to dealing with amounts of stress and like emotional duress that they'll go ahead and seek it out when they're older because it's comforting. Right. It's what they're used to. It's their routine. It's what they grew up on. Like, it's the same reason you still want mom's home cooking when you go home. Only your version of mom's home cooking this time is self-sabotage and going ahead and being with women who are already involved and then going ahead and hearing the children that aren't yours. Just because they come from a broken home as well, and you can sympathize. What you're essentially saying when you go ahead and you pick a relationship with a woman and her children, especially the children, is you're saying, I come from a broken home too. I can relate to how you feel. I can relate to how you feel about your father. And not only am I willing to go ahead and sacrifice myself, like, basically on like, your altar of childhood here, but I'm willing to go ahead and try to fix what's wrong with you and try to fix what's broken because I couldn't fix myself.
Well, and maybe, I get what you're saying, but even to scale it back a little bit and just say, I don't think I'm going to fix anybody.
Right, right.
But I think what in my mind is like, I'll be here.
Yeah, man.
No matter what. And I have it's like this last situation has went on for like literally a year and a half this month. Since like we broke up, and then we've been on again, off again. Like we hang out sometimes and always kissing on each other. Like, so I love this woman.
Right.
I don't want to move on if I like, part of me just has this like secret hope that like, please catch on to how bad this is, like how destructive this cycle is.
Right, right.
And how much in the long run you're really just enabling him to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And please just come on, like be strong enough to do the hard thing now because it's the right thing later.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know anymore. And like this last week has been very trying for me. And I'm trying not to throw anyone under the bus because I know everyone has their own perspective. Everyone has their own feelings and thoughts about why things are. But it's hard not to get, for me
Yeah.
I don't deal with loss well. Like that's been a big thing for my PTSD
Absolutely.
is
Okay,
loss.
yeah.
You know, and my daddy issues are in loss and like him refusing to be a man and like teach me how to be a man and all of that. So when I lose somebody, I lose them hard, and I don't appreciate I just sometimes
you associate all trauma of loss with the trauma of loss of losing your dad and like his approval and respect and all that.
Right.
And so everything is just so much more. It's magnified by far and away.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
of that feeling of loss. Like I grew up poor. And basically, like, you know, lived in a shitty trailer, didn't even have skirting in the trailer, holes in the floor. My mom used to let her dog do the dog's business right outside my bedroom. And, like, every day was like, wake up with no heat, go ahead and figure out how you're going to shower because the water bill's probably not paid. Step in a pile of dog shit, go on to school.
Right.
And then I went ahead and the only girl who ever paid me attention was the girl I ended up marrying, whose blood type was also gold because she came from a well-to-do family. And she didn't understand intimacy issues either. Like, she had a host of intimacy issues and didn't understand what they were. She had daddy issues out the ass because her father disapproved of everything she did. That bitch could go ahead and breathe and tell her stop. Like, it was just one of that type of thing.
Yeah, another problem I've run into.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so fucking, like, as I got older, I noticed more and more that I was with her because it was the comfort of, like, the dysfunction that kept me going, and it wasn't because I was in love with her. When I eventually married her, like, way before I was ever supposed to, like, it was, what I realized was that I still had hope when our divorce was over. What you trying to play, gold digger?
Yeah, it was, but I forget I don't have ad block, and I can't.
We'll
I gotta get better at drops.
Yeah, but no, like what essentially I figured out was when we were married and everything that I didn't want to be with her. I didn't want the life I had. And I was successful. I had the Fortune 500 lifestyle. I had the 2 cars. I had the home. I had it all bought and paid for before I was even like fucking 22.
Yeah, the blueprint to the nuclear bullshit.
Oh, pretty much. Like, yeah, the American picket fence, the 2.5 kids, the fucking half a dog in the front yard waving at the fucking, you know,
the
census taker.
Suicide.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, what I realized was like, because I had all that and everything, it didn't feel like it was anything I ever wanted. There was no fulfillment in it. And I was working basically to go ahead and please a woman who I didn't love anymore. And I was just with because it was the dysfunction was all I'd ever known. And it just made me feel like I was at home because our shit just didn't mix together properly. Like, it was a fucking like water and oil relationship, basically. Right. And so, like, as time got older and everything, we made our separation. I was glad to be away from her because I was glad she was she's a bit emotionally vampiric and like killed my bank account left and right. And then she went ahead and always tried to make me into something I wasn't. She was always trying to change me. And as I got older, and I had, like, you know, I put out the 4 books. I went ahead and started being, like, successful at doing mixed martial arts. I went ahead and got a workout program where I can bench 320 pounds. And then I went ahead and, like, you know, worked multiple jobs where they went ahead and put me in positions of being a supervisor and stuff like that. Right. Like, I did all this stuff, owned my own home, increased my business, you know, paid off all my vehicles and everything. I realized that, like, I am that man now that she wanted back then. And then there was always some type of a sick, twisted version of me that was like, I sure hope she sees this one day and realizes that I have the resources now that I didn't have then just so I could vie for her approval. Right. And then I just had to wake up one day and be like, I don't need that bitch because, well, divorce happened. And we went through a 6-month process to basically tell the whole county and the whole state of Indiana we didn't need each other. Yeah. And I was like, and I need to get off this train of thought because it's self-sabotaging as fuck.
Right.
Yeah, man. I've totally been there.
Yeah, well, and I do seem to do... There is something about having a kid and then the dude bails on you that totally. Like makes a pretty hot girl more willing to date someone like me.
Oh yeah.
You know, so it's my dating pool is pretty much single women at 32.
Yeah,
you know,
understandable.
It's like, which is fine. My dating pool is single women.
Of
course
like
it is.
A little redundant.
My dating pool is single mothers.
Yeah. My dating pool's married women, bro. I just like to get handguns pulled on me a lot.
When you run into a 31-year-old girl with no kids, you're like, okay, what's wrong with this bitch?
Yeah, right.
But usually they're just like focused on their career and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of those chicks I've tried to talk to are very, like, they've got like their masters and shit, and they're just like, well, actually, and I'm like, I don't operate on that way.
There's nothing like pretentiousness on the first
date.
Yeah,
like I don't. I'll never be able to, like, I can joke around about it.
Yeah.
Actually, the square root is divided by pi, and then you take it and multiply.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing like going back to her house looking at her degrees.
Yeah, fuck off. Like, Jesus Christ, can't you just be a real human?
Yeah, right on.
Shut your fucking college off for 1 minute.
All right, so for our listeners and everything, what's an average date like for Matt at 32? Like
An
Matt
average date
32,
like for Matt.
about to go out on a night.
Matt is trying to find a girl who is not into the bars.
Okay.
So Matt is trying to find someone who will come back and catch a buzz and watch some movies and maybe make out and get handsy and see what happens.
Okay.
Matt likes a Netflix and chill date.
The Netflix and chill date.
Yeah, I will go do whatever must be done.
Okay.
But I if you put me in a situation where I'm around a lot of people, I'm immediately going to be tense.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably be a little bit sweaty.
Okay.
And it's not that big of a deal, but you know, I'm bald, so it dribbles.
So it's okay. So you waterfalls.
Yeah.
All right.
Luckily, I don't get the pit stains.
Okay.
So yeah, it's nerve wracking for me. Like, I like dinner and a movie is okay. Like, but I prefer if we can just hang out in a comfortable place. Like,
okay.
Hopefully, my place is comfortable enough.
Okay. Hopefully.
Or her place.
Or her
like,
place.
Whatever.
All right. Switch it around some. Yeah.
Or somewhere we can go for a walk or whatever.
That's
but I don't want to go to like the bar usually.
Yeah, because I haven't dated in a couple years now. Like when I settled down with this one, she's 16 years older than me, and like she's got a wealth of knowledge and expertise in areas of life I don't.
Yeah.
Like 32 versus like 47, basically.
Right.
And like so there's a lot of things that she's already established, 401k, retirement plan, all that, and everything. And she also has like a fair bit more knowledge than I do when it comes to like the realm of sexual things. Like before she even touches me, I'm just kind of like, I don't know what you're about to do to me, but I promise you, I'm already gonna like it. Like that's where we're at with that right there.
Yeah. That's not a bad problem to have.
No, it's totally not. And like, I remember when I was dating, I like at the time I had just left a girl who left me for a meth head on my birthday.
Nice.
True story as fuck. And so like, I didn't really have like any prospects. I lived in like a 13-foot camper in my buddy's backyard. Like I was still working 2 jobs and stuff, and like so I was trying to come back up again and everything like that. And that girl literally like had my back while I lived in a 13-foot camper. Like she would come over, bring pizza and beer, and just kind of be like, "Camper sex is where it's at. It's like a vacation, but it's not." And I was just kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll go with that. That's fine.
Pretty cool.
And so, like, I just appreciate the fact that, like, this is probably the first real adult relationship I've had where we've had each other's back, no matter how fucked up it's been, and we weren't stabbing each other in the back at the same time.
Yeah, I've got a litany of friends, like women who I've existed in their friend zone for years and years.
Yeah.
I've given up on them long since, like, you know, as options. Some of them are married now, and like, but the like my last 2 girlfriends are still close by.
Yeah.
Close. Well, one of them less so than the other.
They're hovering like vultures, waiting for impending danger. It's like, roadkill, Matt. We want a piece.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, I'm just one of those guys, like, you can't find one of my exes, or even a girl. There's one girl I tried to date that would probably say, I did a bunch of shit, but then if you dive deeper, you're going to find out she's bipolar and she's done a bunch of crazy shit.
Oh,
so,
I'm sure.
Like, her word is only so trustable.
Yeah.
But most of them, everything they say about it is such a nice guy, blah, 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 blah. It's like, but they always choose the fucking
right
crazy-ass lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So, I don't know. I don't even really try anymore. If, like, pussy falls in my lap, then I'll entertain it.
There you go.
But I don't, there's a certain point, like 32 years of rejection is enough.
Okay. All right. So we've just hit the wall.
Yeah.
A real dating wall. We're done with the word no. We're not even going to like have it inflicted upon us voluntarily anymore. Like, I'm not going to ask you for a date, but if you hop in my lap and things go okay, I'm going to call it a date and be okay.
You feel free to, if you're a young lady or wild woman or whatever, to force yourself on me.
Yeah.
As long as I don't say no, then you're cool. Like,
I got an ex-girlfriend, right?
Pretty low odds.
It still hits me up probably about once a week or so wanting a favor and things like that. And she used to be a stockbroker. She's worked for like leasing companies and stuff. She's had fairly decent white collar and blue collar jobs. But the thing is, she's addicted to chaos. Like basically, if you like have a beard and you have a mullet and you go ahead and like to get arrested for a DUI on occasion, and like fucking you want to go ahead and get caught with like possession of meth and everything, she's all about it. And because of this, she like in the past 5 years, she's been in jail 3 or 4 times. Hasn't had a stable residence. Like hasn't really had like any job she's held down for long enough to actually have an income without like going ahead and splurging on drugs to lose her income and everything else. And she always asks me for a favor about once a week or so, and she's like, I need a ride somewhere. And I'm like, I'm not going to whatever trap house you're staying in. I'm not picking you up while you put a bunch of stolen shit in my truck and claim it's your bags. I'm not going to go ahead and have your fucking flavor of the week and whatever fucking parole he's on or whatever ankle bracelet he's wearing in my truck either.
Yeah.
And I was like, basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm not down with your poor choices. And like it gets to the point like where she goes on, she badgers because she wants her own little way. Usually because she's under the influence of whatever fucking recreational designer drug she got her hands on down at the Stop and Shop corner. And she's always going on, be like, oh, but you should really do this, and I like to see you and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, no, because it's your poor choices. That's all it boils down to, is just kind of like, you are one poor choice after another poor choice after another poor choice. And all that leads to is depression, pal, and I'm not doing it. Well, that and a criminal record, but you know.
Yeah, that's you do have to wonder at what point do you got to pull back and just, and some people are better at it than me. Some people are a lot better at it than me.
Right.
But when do I just got to be like, all right, well, the only thing I have that I can take away to show you how serious I am about what I mean. And like how I feel about this is me.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, supposedly, you know, when I briefly mentioned I might be moving away, and this, of course, she's going to listen to this. So, like, this isn't me saying I'm doing any ultimatums. I'm just fucking saying, like, you got to think about, like, at what point do I have to do what hurts less for me?
Totally.
Like, and it sucks fucking balls when you first tell someone you're not going to talk to them anymore.
Right.
Because I won't ghost anybody. I won't ever do it. I hate it.
I've ghosted so many women, it's ridiculous.
I don't.
Like,
I'll just flat out tell them.
I
at some
co-starred
point
with Patrick
when I've had
Swayze in the
enough.
movie. Like, that's how bad it was for me at a time.
I drove down to Tennessee to break off an FWB situation once, face to face.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, like
all the way
but
down.
she was my friend.
Yeah.
With benefit. Like, I didn't want to fuck her over. So, like, I drove down and told her the truth. I was like, I met a girl that lives fucking 6 blocks from me.
Yeah.
And she wants to hang out. So, like, I don't want to, like, be in this situation with you and start a relationship with someone else and then have a whole bunch of shit. So, like, she was so grateful I came and did it to her face that we still got to sleep together for a whole last weekend.
Sweet.
Like, and then I was rolling right into another relationship.
I have ghosted women to the point that I felt bad 2 weeks later and went and bought them a new couch just to make up for it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I got
just
them a couch.
Some furniture.
Dude,
I
was like, well, it was a little like black click clack futon from Walmart, and it was on sale. And I was like, you know, this girl Megan, who sucks a mean one, she really deserves my attention right now because I've ghosted her the last 2 weeks just because I thought the whole thing was awkward, and it was because I'd had bad luck with other relationships, and I just wasn't ready to be in a relationship. But rather than say no, don't suck my dick, I was like, please do, because well, that shit's fun. And like, so like basically like after about 2 weeks of ghosting on her, and then she hit me up one day and was like, why'd you abandon me? I was like, hold on, I'll be at your house with a new couch, because like I didn't know what else to say. And here's a click clack at Walmart, and I was like, fuck yeah, that'll go ahead and say I'm sorry real quick.
Yeah.
And then like I think she gave the couch to her neighbor. Because like she was probably a little put out by that, and I would have been too.
Right.
But like I just like to say, Megan, I've emotionally matured since then. My girlfriend thinks so I guess we're cool there.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of ex-girlfriends, so it's like I wish I'd have had more of those fucked up weird stories. But really, it's just everyone I date or want to date seems that. I remember I've wanted to date girls who said they were interested.
Yeah.
And then strung me along, like, one girl for, like, 5 years.
Yeah.
But then it was another 5 years before she ever came back. And she's like, I was asking her, I was just like, I'm having trouble here. Like, I was like, I'm at a point where this shit is hurting, like, too much. And I can't keep asking people out, but I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the deal? Like, why do you guys all act like you fucking love me and then not want to be around me?
Right.
And she's like, well, I was always afraid of your depression. And I was, well, that's an honest answer that you could have told me 10 fucking years ago.
It's not like depression's contagious. I mean, if you're around the person who's depressed enough, you're going to feel kind of bad.
And she went on, she was like, you would say things, like, I get to where, like, jokes about suicide fly out. Like,
yeah.
And I do have thoughts about the topic.
Sure.
But people get scared about that and think I'm going to do something.
Right.
And so, 32 years, I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and I'm not going to pursue a new relationship if I'm planning to blow my brains out in 2 weeks.
I mean, that's just inconsiderate to your future lovers in general.
Right. That's a dick move.
Yeah, right.
So, I just had to, and she even said, she's like, yeah, I was probably wrong about the way, blah, blah, blah. But whatever, years are gone. She's married.
Right.
God bless her. I love her to death. But, it just like I run into these women who don't seem to know what the fuck they want. And some of them have went off and found good situations.
Yeah.
Some of them thought they were in good situations that have since ended.
I feel like in the YouTube link, we need to put like your Tinder profile bio in the bottom of the comments section.
Yeah, because that's what this is. This is my personal.
This is your personals ad right now.
Ladies, do you want a fat guy who's really fucked up? But he'll do nice things for you.
He'll do nice things. You'll get bread. And you'll get water. He'll be the perfect model inmate. His little tiny cell.
Occasionally, I'll even give you butter.
If he puts you in the closet, he'll feed you crackers through the gap between the door and the floor.
I actually have. It's built like an old-fashioned jail cell in my bedroom, and I took into the closet and I just cut a square out of the wall and put some bars in there.
Yeah.
So that way they can hang their face out.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
it's very creative of you. That's very creative of you.
You know. But it's only if you consent. If you like bondage,
only if
in an Old West scenario.
I'm telling you, you need a FetLife profile.
Old West bondage.
Oh my God, FetLife is where I've run into so many awkward sexual situations. Like
I looked at it for about a week. I saw this mistress that was really like I really wanted to talk to her, but I don't know how to. Like, I'm not really a submissive person.
So tell her you're not a submissive person by nature. Just start out and be like, I'm not submissive, but you're hot, so I'm gonna totally fuck up your dynamic and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it was like I kind of want to see what you're all about, though. So it's like, tell me what you want me to say. I know I've got to play a role here. You mommy, mistress, miss. I don't know. How does this work?
I dated a girl. I was in a poly relationship for about a year.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, I was doing the poly thing, and like it was when Icarus flew too close to the sun. Basically, it was that type of scenario, because I realized once you identify as like a polyamorous person, you basically can have more than one partner.
Right.
And what that means was I'm lucky I didn't get AIDS.
Yeah.
And so that's how that boiled down to. And I had a polyamorous girlfriend, and she had a live-in boyfriend for a while. He was actually an amputee. He was missing part of his leg.
But she didn't have to worry about him running off.
No, not really. And like the best part was having sex, and he got his stump out. And because I was down for the occasional threesome. Like, basically, I always tell people I'll try anything once, I'll try it twice.
So did he stump her?
I mean, he stumped her a lot, and like without even having to ask any questions. And the reason we broke up, because this is what happens in FetLife. And like people who are on FetLife who actually hear this podcast, like maybe one or two of them out there probably will understand this. But like, we broke up because she gave a guy a hand job while he was wearing a diaper, and she didn't tell me about it. And I was just kind of like, at first I was really pissed. Like, I was on this type of angry warpath because I'd given this woman like a year of my relationship.
Right.
And it didn't like really occur to me during my own narcissistic anger that I'd given other women also parts of the year of my relationship, and like probably enough like semen to go ahead and start a fucking like fertility plant. And like, no, it didn't. None of that mattered. What mattered the most was that she jerked off a guy while he wore a diaper and didn't tell me. And I was just kind of like, we were both hoes. Sure, that was true. But I wanted to overlook that to stay angry for that diaper hand job. And so, like, this is what FetLife gave me, was diaper hand jobs.
Yeah, that's there's a bit in that.
Yeah,
there's
totally
definitely a bit there.
There's totally that. Like, I went to I used to have a bond, like a membership for a paid sex club in Muncie, Indiana, called Club Layden.
Oh yeah,
you can still Google this. Layden, Club Layden. Yep.
Oh, of course.
Let's see here.
Layden.
Yep. The club is got a K to it when you start it, so KLUB. Okay. Yep. So one New Year's, I went ahead and I got a membership to Club Layden. And what that meant was driving up in Muncie, and I'd pretty much purchased backyard beer that I got from one of my clients I haul things off for at work. And so
they've got an Angel Fire page.
Oh, yeah, dude, Angel Fire. Yeah, circa 1994 style.
What the fuck?
Yeah, buddy.
That's old school.
So it was basically in like the industrial district of downtown Muncie, Indiana.
Okay.
And it was a giant warehouse. And what they'd done is partition it off with like basically, you know how they put together portable cubicles for offices and stuff like that? Well, they had done that, and they turned it all into bedrooms. And they turned another section of it to where it was like a kitchenette area. And then they turned another section of it to where it was like a dance floor. Okay. And so I went to a paid sex club, private membership and everything. Got a membership, and that was my New Year's. And basically, I spent it walking around watching people get blowjobs, and then I walked in on like many an awkward sexual scenario. At one point, like, I'm the type of person who, when I drink, I have what I like to call empty bottle syndrome.
Okay.
I don't stop drinking until the bottle's empty.
Right.
It's a syndrome. I can't stop. That's just my thing. And I was so drunk, I knew I couldn't get an erection throughout the night and everything. But like, I engaged in well, I tried to engage in like 3 girls going down on me at one time, and my dick wouldn't work. It was probably like one of the most humiliating moments of my life. Hilarious as fuck. At the end of the night, like I was so drunk, I had like a bottle of Alizé in my hand, and I'm not
Alizé.
I am not down with the culture of what Alizé represents or what it's from. So I had no idea it was even like a black folk thing.
Yeah.
Or that like it was like fucking from pop culture. I was just kind of like, it's sticky shit. It's kind of sweet. And all of a sudden, like I ran in the kitchen. I stole a crock pot full of somebody's cheese. I grabbed some girl and started making out with her while holding Alizé and a crock pot full of cheese. And that's how I rang in my new year, because I found a paid sex club in Muncie. And
$100 for single males.
oh, it was they had a
after 1 a.m.
yeah, they had a poly discount rate discount too. So if
yeah,
you brought
there's a
groups
couple
in,
rate,
Yeah.
$40
that was what we paid right there. Was a
for
$40.
a Saturday.
Yeah.
Man, single males really get fucked on that deal.
Oh, by far and away.
But they don't want it to be a sausage fest, and that's what would happen.
Yeah.
So I get that. It's just like that's how they run the doors at a club too. Like they always want to make sure there's at least like 80% women or 60% women in there.
Oh yeah.
And not too many dudes.
Like when I work security downtown for all the bars in Bloomington, and there are like 39 actual bars in Bloomington that serve alcohol, and I've probably been drunk and kicked out of at least 37 of them. And like I'm the guy who has a badge now and goes around these clubs and like polices drunk co-eds and things like that.
Right.
And like I can tell you, the 2 things I most pick up off the dance floor are fucking drunk frat boys and tampons. So like that's pretty much how the night goes right there. That's an indicator.
Somebody pulled the fuse.
Yep, somebody pulled the fuse on the grenade, pal, and that was all she wrote.
And just left it there.
And just
well,
left it.
what else are you gonna do if you're on the dance floor?
Yep, that's
I
pretty
don't
much
know.
it.
I guess whatever floats your boat. I guess
Right.
I'd probably would have done it too back in the day. So what am I gonna say?
I don't know. What are we at to now? Are we about an hour
We're
and a
at
half?
an
into this?
hour and 41 minutes.
An hour and 41 minutes.
And
Well, let's talk about if you got any new projects coming out or anything.
any
we'll wrap
new
it up.
projects? I don't currently have any new projects coming up.
Because I know you got the music thing.
I got the music thing. The plan is hopefully this year I want to write 8 songs and put them on put them together and call them an album.
Okay.
Whether or not I'll be able to make that happen, I guess I got plenty of time, so I'll probably be able to make that happen. Let's be more positive about it. But aside from that, I'm just trying to get the podcasting thing together. I'm hoping to start networking with musicians and comedians in the area. I don't know how many comedians.
So you want to put out like
have.
a call to arms, be like, funny people with guitars, come chill?
Well, the only way to start a scene is to start a scene.
Okay.
And so those of us who are inclined to do something are going to have to get together on it and try to draw a crowd.
Yeah.
So as you've looked into the Comedy Attic, which is really our biggest outlet
Oh, yeah.
in town, but
It's
not
really
our
sad.
only one.
Yeah,
not our only one.
There's like 3 clubs you can do stand-up and open mic in. And like
Right.
at the same time, the one like prevalently known is the Comedy Attic because it is the Comedy
Yeah.
Attic. There's also like Bear's Place and Players Pub and stuff like that.
which I think is where we probably would be better able to build a scene.
Oh, more than
But
likely.
the thing is, like, to have a bringer show for an open micer, you got to bring in 10 people.
10 people who have to go ahead and spend $5 of their own money just to go ahead and do the cover charge. The club
then-
makes $50 whether or not you fucking bomb.
And then, well, yeah, and whether or not you bomb isn't important, but you're not going to get an accurate feedback for your jokes.
No,
because
not at
these
all.
people are there to laugh for you.
Yeah, they're a biased audience to begin with.
Yeah.
Like you've basically duped them into going off the fact that you might be funny, and like you've basically gone ahead and insinuated they might have a good time, irregardless of if I just get drunk and ignore them after the show or not.
Right. And far be it from me, like, I'm not going to sit and like bomb the Comedy Attic. I
Yeah.
love that place. I've seen a couple great stand-ups there. But
Yeah.
like, the idea that a first-time open micer has to bring in 10 people that are a biased audience
Yep.
in order to get, so you're going to get a negative feedback, like, or a not real feedback.
No, there's no realism. No.
And I mean, if it's something you actually want to pursue, it's a counterproductive way to
It
do
totally is.
And
I've
I
been
understand
testing-
that they're trying to make money.
Yeah, I've been testing my jokes on my Facebook statuses and stuff this week.
Everyone laughs.
I've been bouncing them off you. I've been bouncing them off random people and shit throughout the day. Like even people just walking down the sidewalk. I'm just
Right.
kind of like, let me tell you about my family for a minute. And like, it's just a start
That's a
because
cool
I
way
know
to
it's
practice.
yeah, I know it's just unbiased as fuck, and I know it's
Yeah.
like the most realistic way I'm going to actually get an opinion on my stand up and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, besides that, I'm also an author, and I've got like I'm working on putting together my own .com
Right.
and selling my books independently for $1 or $2 a piece.
Okay.
Like I used to do a lot with Amazon and stuff when I first got started. You can find me on Amazon under Night Watcher or Broken Bonds, and those are just a couple books of mine. And what I found was Amazon's doing a return policy now on ebooks. How the fuck you return a digitally formatted book is beyond me.
And why are you allowed to return something that costs you like
It's a complete satisfaction guarantee. Like they're not already making billions of dollars in the first place.
Wow.
I have a friend who outsold Stephen King for 3 months in a row. His name is Tim Marquitz. He's author of the Demon Squad series. Fucking amazing novel series. Basically, it's a grim, dark, urban fiction, that type of thing. Like, basically, it's a guy who has a thing for guns and fucking angels. It's crazy. And he outsold, that series alone outsold Stephen King in the horror section for like 3 months. And then, like, basically what he made off of that was like maybe less than $700 because most of his the copies of his books he sold were returned. Because it's basically like renting a fucking book at that point. You say, yes, I'm going to buy the book. You download it to your Kindle. And then you go ahead and go back, contact Amazon and say, I'm dissatisfied with this. Take the book back. You have to pay for it. It's like an Amazon library.
That's so like counterintuitive to the whole idea of art. That
by far and away.
Especially in writing, you work on this, you get it published or edited, however, you get it all put together. I've never even thought about writing a novel, and then you have to put it out. The whole thing is when you buy it, it's a gamble. You don't know if you're going to like, what is the world that we're like, everyone's always going to be happy? Like,
I don't understand it either.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't understand it either.
I don't, 100% satisfaction guarantee. There's not 100% fucking satisfaction on anything.
No, not at all. Like, we live in a world where basically you can go ahead and cure unhappiness with a pill or a few remarks or a safe space to sit in if you don't like it. And, like, we live in a world where we've just forgot how to keep track of, like, our emotions to the point that, like, we realize we should have them and they're okay to be negative and then we should embrace that.
Well, as long as you allow yourself to experience them and don't kill people.
Oh, totally, by far and away. Keep yourself from going postal.
Right.
And, but, like, so basically, like, I've got the author things going on and stuff like that, and then I've got the stand-up. And what I would really like to do is have my own hub of, like, not so much a narcissistic version of benterhune.com or something. Right. But I would like to have my own website where I can just kick books out for $1, not have to worry about paying $180 for an ISBN number just so I'm registered on a brick-and-mortar store or something like that. And so I'm trying to get that together, and then I'm trying to do the stand-up thing, and then I'm just trying to go ahead and basically live off the grid and keep shit in a bucket.
I think that's a great place to wrap this up.
All right, man. That sounds
Shitting
good.
in buckets.
Uh-huh.
So, all right. Well, next time, I guess we'll probably be a little further along in the development of this thing. In the meantime, as I always tell people when I sign off, go fuck yourself. I'm Matt Jablonsky.
I'm Ben Terhune. Check me out at the Comedy Attic, February 7th, 8 p.m. Or you can check me out on Amazon, Broken Bonds, or just hit me up on Facebook, and I'll give you a copy for free because I fucking love piracy.
Kiss, kiss, hug, hug.